didn't work on that, but now we can talk.
Excellent, cool. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for picking, like, choosing me as one of the people to interview. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Like, usually, smaller YouTubers don't really have much of a voice, so this is like really big. So thank you so much.
yeah. Oh, no problem, no problem. So I guess just to explain a little bit about the video is about like online social media influencer courses. So basically, these courses that are like, how to get to 100,000 subscribers, how to, blow up your views, like quadruple your ad revenue, all this kind of stuff. And I really feel like those courses are very manipulative, and I don't think they work. Like, I think they're nearly completely ineffective. And
Yeah.
so to do that, I kind of wanted to like talk to just creators of all different sizes just about their experience. I'll be talking to like I'm talking to like 10 or 15 creators, and I'll have little clips from all of them. So we might not be using that much of this interview, but we will be using something. Like, you'll be in the video if you want to be in the video. And
Sorry. Thank you for sharing.
and so I guess before we get started, I just want to say, if we do end up talking about anything that like you don't want in the video for whatever reason, just let me know and I won't use it. Like, no questions asked.
Of
Um,
course.
could I ask you to maybe move your phone a little closer just so I can hear your voice, because it's kind of cutting out a little bit.
I brought a mic just in
Oh, that'll
case.
that'll do it. That'll do it.
So hopefully that helps. Because maybe I'll put my phone.
Try speaking there.
Can you hear me? Yeah, but then I can't hear you.
Huh.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see what I can do. Because I do have a mic for this, but it's like really pooped. Like, it's not very good, but I'm going to try to do it. That's why I brought my
Can you hear me okay?
That's perfect. That's much better.
Okay. So we can talk like this is probably the best.
Yeah. No, this works fine. Um.
All right.
Okay. So I guess first thing I want to ask you is, how did you get into YouTube and why did you start posting videos?
Wow, my YouTube journey, that's a very long one. So when I was a teen, when I was around 16, 17 years old, I started getting into YouTube. Wait, I think I remember more the year than I remember my age. It was around 2011. And back then I used to watch like Smosh and um, Ray William Johnson, Niga Higa, all those classic YouTubers. And I thought that what they were doing was so amazing, so incredible, right? And I did theater at that time. I did theater for 5 years for a while. And I always felt like I had something to offer the world, something of comedy. Like when I saw those YouTubers just making people laugh, making people smile, or sometimes provoking like thought, because a lot of YouTubers also do more philosophical videos or analytical videos, like yours, for example. Like they made me think about things in a different way. And I realized then that that's what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be that kind of person. I wanted to make someone's day, make them smile, or at least help them think differently. So, but I was in high school. I didn't know how to edit videos. So I started my YouTube journey like for real when I was in 2017. I graduated in 2016, studied video editing. I did a course. Then I started doing gameplay videos very, very, very late, back like the gaming industry for YouTube was already dead, and that's when I started. So I feel like one of the reasons why I might have not grown so much is because whenever I wanted to follow a trend, I always followed it way too late. So I played games for a whole year. I played every week nonstop. I played games like Undertale and Night in the Woods, and some also 8-bit games like Angels of Death and all kinds of stuff. But that never took form until one day I did a video that was completely different from anything that I've done before. It was a theory on a Rick and Morty character called Mr. Poopy Butthole from season 2.
I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him too. Yeah, and I wanted to do a theory to analyze him, right? Because I loved watching theory channels. Back then I was obsessed with Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I was obsessed with lore. So I had this idea for a video like what if we are Mr. Poopy Butthole and what if he's a metaphor for the viewer of the show? That was my theory. And that was my first video that ever blew up, like it was like complete shock. Like I uploaded the video, took it was my longest edited video yet, and I woke up and the video had 20,000 views. I almost choked. I was like,
Yeah, I've
no,
been
this is
I remember
fake.
the first time I checked the video and it had like that amount of views. Terrifying. Like really exciting, but like what?
Yeah. No, I couldn't believe what I just saw. Like, no, I must be dreaming that so many people see my video. And it's like it wasn't even well edited, it's like just a couple of images and me talking over, that's it. But I did work really hard on it. I really liked the video. Unfortunately got a lot of dislikes because back in the day there was a really strong fan base between Gravity Falls, which I hadn't watched at that time, and Rick and Morty. And most of the people that disliked the video were like, "No, actually, he's Bill Cipher." So it was like, okay. But I got positive comments
Sure,
too.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
Hmm.
like, okay, that's weird, but I'll take it. I don't know who Bill Cipher is, but okay. But yeah, that was my first ever like viral hit and one of the very few. Um and but I was afraid for a very long time that I wouldn't make it. I faced a lot of resistance of committing to the hard work because I remember that when I edited that video, I thought that 6.5 hours of nonstop editing was a lot. Haha, imagine what you must have to go through, or someone like Beyond Ghibli, right? It's like days and weeks, right? So I was afraid of the commitment. But I saw that my gaming videos weren't doing well, and eventually, after one more year of gaming, I quit. I started doing more analytical videos similar to yours or Beyond Ghibli's or Trisical, Bonsai Pop, but not just anime. I've always prided myself when I was younger in my knowledge of I know a little bit of everything of every media. Books, series, comic books, manga, anime, series, anything I know a little bit. So I like to talk about a little bit of everything, and I feel like that was also one of the reasons why my channel never took up because back then it was like even still it's like you have to find your niche. You have to stick to one very specific thing, otherwise you're not gonna grow. But I was like, no, I want to grow for me. I want people to tune into my videos because they're watching a video by Adara. They're not watching just, oh, it's that One Piece girl or it's that cartoon girl or it's that stop animation girl. No, it's me. But unfortunately, that didn't work out. But fast forward to 2020, 2021. I moved to Germany with my boyfriend. And that's when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take 1 year to just do YouTube. I'm going to take 1 year. I'm going to put my heart and soul into my videos nonstop and make every week one video. I would upload one on my anime channel. I made a second anime channel just for anime because niche equals views. So I was like, okay, let's try this niche thing out. I'm gonna be an anime YouTuber on one channel, and on the other channel, I'm gonna be the rest. I'm gonna be animation, series, books, etc. And I did that for about 8 months until I burned out to a pulp and I just couldn't take it anymore. Like I saw a very small amount of growth. Every time I got views, it was always if I made like a meme video. It wasn't a video that took me. a long time to make. I always did my best to make the best thumbnails that I could, talk about things that I cared about, but I wasn't heard. People didn't watch my content. And I felt like the most cruel thing about it is that I was improving significantly, or else I felt like I was improving. Like if you compare, I did a To Your Eternity video a little while ago. If you compare a video like that to my first Mr. Poopy Butthole Theory, the growth is so much different. But unfortunately, even though I kept improving and making better and better content, the only video that always got views was a Powerpuff Girl video that I did a little bit before I took my first hiatus, which was to study for college entrance exams, which was around 2019. I did a Powerpuff Girls theory that him about him and Chemical X from the Powerpuff Girls. I titled it "The Story You Never Knew." I even asked like permission from like the Treesicle guys. I said, okay, if I use "The Story You Never Knew" in the title because it's like an untold story. And they were like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I did, and that helped the video skyrocket. It's my most popular video now. Sorry, it's my most popular video now. I think it has almost 50,000 views. And every time that I get views on my channel or comments, it's always that video. It's the same video. And I don't know, it's very melancholic. I'm happy and sad at the
It has
same time.
62,000 views.
Well, then it must have grown a little bit more since the last time I checked on it. But yeah, I love and hate that video at the same time. I love it because I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I made something that so many people watched. I remember there was like this German girl that I talked to on Discord once, and she asked me if I did YouTube. I was like, oh, yeah, I did a really popular Powerpuff Girl video. And she was like, I saw that video. I was like,
Yeah,
so
that's a crazy feeling.
yeah, it's always like I can't believe it that someone out of nowhere just saw my video. But unfortunately, that's all the views I get. And yeah, like I burned out so bad that I just couldn't give anymore because I was in a stage where I was scared shitless for my future. If I could, like if I had all the money and time in the world, I would do YouTube until I die because I like doing it. But the stress of not growing, and it wasn't even a stress of not growing because of the attention, because I don't know, I don't really care for big numbers. I think what I wanted was to have a audience, you know. A For me, if it was like a small group of people that really liked my content and talked to me on Discord and stuck around, I would have been happy. But because I didn't have a focus, I couldn't get that. And I needed to think about my future. I needed to go to university. I needed to do something that would get me a job and to pay bills because, yeah, like my boyfriend is back in Germany and I'm here, and yeah, life is hard. So here I am studying psychology. I gave YouTube a bit of a break, and I guess I'll make videos when I have time, but I just can't now.
So, I guess it's interesting to hear you talk about like you didn't have a niche. Um do you think that's the reason that like you never got the following you wanted?
I think that's one of the reasons. One, the fact that I didn't have a niche. Two, the fact that I didn't follow trends. Three, maybe my thumbnails weren't clickbaity enough. Um, four, I didn't have like I don't know, acquaintances in the community, because I know YouTubers that got famous because they had those acquaintances, you know, they got that boost. So basically I never really had much of a boost. Like I always tried to talk to people, I always try to be friends with people, but I don't know, sometimes I felt like whenever I tried to talk to someone, they were like, this person doesn't have that many followers. It's not worth my time or something like that, you know?
Hmm.
Or at least that's what I felt, you know? Maybe it wasn't like that for everybody, but I did feel that from a lot of people. I tried so hard to make friends and nothing. There are a couple of nice people though on YouTube that I still talk to this day, who are actually very nice to me and like on good terms. But I try to people please so many YouTubers just so like not so much because I wanted a boost. I genuinely was trying to make friends here, but because they thought, oh, they're small, I'm big. They're only talking to me because they want, you know, they want that boost, they want the cloud. And it's like, I don't care about cloud. I just want someone to geek out about YouTube with, you know,
Hmm.
because I love my boyfriend, but he's more of a digital artist. He's not really more of like a video guy. So I showed him like a video, like, dude, this took me an hour to edit. And he was like, Soka, I see. And I was like, I'm proud of you. I don't understand it, but it seems like you worked very hard. But it's like, if someone like who edits YouTube videos saw that, I was like, oh, that's nice. Or I could see their work, but I don't know. People just kind of ghost me with time, and you know, it is what it is.
Well, like, I really wouldn't say that's anything on you personally. I think, like, speaking as someone who's in that other position, for me, it's like, it's very rare I make a friend online just because so many people are trying to be my friend all the time that, like, you know, I've had to have conversations with people where I'm like, hey, listen, this isn't that, like, I think there's anything wrong with you specifically, like talking to whoever I'm talking to. It's more like I just don't have time for another person. And I think when content creators get into a position of, like, you know, power or influence, all of a sudden you have like 100 people trying to talk to you, and like trying to establish a genuine connection with anyone becomes very, very difficult. Um so I guess it's interesting you kind of list the reasons that, you know, it never worked out for you, because what I would say is that you could have actually achieved in each of those four conditions, and there's still a really high chance it just wouldn't have happened.
That's
And
true.
one thing I'm trying to put across with this video is, like, YouTube is so much luck. It's like, I'm interviewing like a bunch of big creators for this video, and a lot of them, it's like just the level of happenstance that led to one of their videos blowing up is so huge, you know, and it's just not something we have control over. And I include myself in that. You know, I work really hard on my videos, I put a lot into them, but looking back over the last 7 years, I was really fortunate. You know, the YouTube just started picking up my videos at the right time. I was uploading the right video, and it was all by accident. Like, there was no plan to it. And that's everyone who I've spoken to. Like, literally everyone. Um so moving forward, I guess, like, what's the plan with you and YouTube? Like, do you still consider yourself like making a proper go at it, or do you think it's something that you do on the side now?
Honestly, it's we we have a long we have many years of life, right? As human beings, we live for many, many years. And who knows what will happen to YouTube in the future. Maybe the little guy gets a chance once more. Maybe it won't be just luck. Maybe YouTube starts considering smaller creators. Maybe not. Maybe it just becomes television point two, like so many people are fearing. Like they took the U
Unfortunately,
out of YouTube.
yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it feels like it's headed more that direction. Like, I don't know what the future is for people of my size, you know what I mean? But I worry about the smaller creator and their kind of chances.
I
Uh,
love YouTube.
no, you go ahead.
I love YouTube. I love YouTube because it gave me a voice, at least for a couple of times. It gave me a chance to say what I wanted to say and put it out there. But it is heartbreaking that reality that us little guys stand such a little chance to grow and to become online people, to make a living, or just to get that small following, that small amount of people that appreciate my work. Like, even that, very hard to get, you know. But right now, unfortunately, I'm semi-retired from YouTube. Like, one day, sure, I'm definitely gonna make videos again, like here and there, but unless I win the lottery and now because I have money, I have time, I don't think I can come back to YouTube. I started university and I plan to give university everything that I got. And once I graduate, once I start working and set my foot down, become independent, and I have the time, then yeah, I definitely plan to make videos using what I learned. For example, if I wanted to dive into deep psychology of anime characters, for example, of deep psychology of YouTubers. Actually, one of the reasons why I'm studying psychology is well because like I said, I always wanted to help people. I wanted to make them laugh, or I wanted to make them think differently about themselves, or give them different points of view. And I feel like psychology falls really well into that. So even though I can't fulfill my dream of becoming an online influencer, I feel like I can at least make a difference in my community as a psychologist. So unfortunately, I kind of have to let YouTube go.
Well, like
It's sad, but it's true.
it's funny you say that because one of the parts of YouTube that I personally have had to let go of is the idea that my videos make a difference in other people's lives. And the reason for that isn't because I don't think my videos aren't important to people. In fact, I know they are. But that desire to me became kind of unhealthy over time because you're getting a lot of feedback from people saying like, "Oh, I love your videos mean so much to me." And inevitably with that you get some quite like dark messages about people who have maybe gone through some like mental illness or like have become suicidal, and they want and your videos help them, and that's good. It's a lot. And over enough time you start to realize it's not super healthy to be getting feedback that strong from people you don't know. And then you think about like, okay, this video is going to take more time. I'm going to need an extra 2 weeks to make this video worthwhile. That's 2 more weeks these people who are suffering are going to be without my video. What effect is that going to have on them? And that's way too much pressure. But ultimately, the conclusion I kind of came to is like, okay, I have one responsibility to one group of people, and it's the people physically around me. It's the people in my regular life. And to me, making a difference in their lives, trying to be the best friend I can be, the best partner I can be, the best son, that is so much infinitely more important than making a YouTube video that makes someone happy. Not that it's a small thing, but to be honest with you, I've just kind of let go of the idea of making a difference in someone's life because it's just too much, you know.
Mhm. I think I want to thank you for sharing that with me. That's definitely a perspective that I never would have gotten in my life otherwise. Like, I never thought about how heavy that could be, that feeling of guilt and responsibility. I've definitely heard here and there, like from snippets of people saying like, oh, like big YouTubers is like crying over the fact that they can't answer everybody when they started to blow up, right? Crying because they want to interact with every single person so bad, but they just can't. There's just not enough time in the world, not enough energy in the world. And
So
I definitely.
I
Go
remember
ahead.
one time at Magfest, I was there with my friend Rebecca, and I just put out like 12 o'clock that day. I was like, hey, I'm gonna do a meetup at this spot at this time. See you there. And I turned the corner to the meetup, and there was like 100 people, and I was like, oh fuck, someone else is having a meetup here at the same time, you know. But then they all turned to see me and started clapping, and it was so surreal. It was like, oh my god. And so it took about 2.5, 3 hours, something like that, and I got through everyone, and we went back to our hotel room afterwards. And afterwards, like, I just sat on the bed and I just started crying because I had never experienced anything that intense, you know? And it was so cool that that many people showed up, but it was a real, like, profound shock because I was coming to terms with the fact that this wasn't a little thing anymore. And as cool as that stuff can be, it's also quite scary, you know? And it's not as and then the other side of it as well is like if you get all that acknowledgement, it's never enough. You always want more and more and more and more. And that can really consume you if you let it, you know? So while I get the want for like the feeling that you're validating people or making a difference in their lives, to me, what I've kind of brought that side of it back to is I make videos just for me. And I say whatever I want to say, and that's enough. That's okay. And it doesn't matter what other people make of them. And like that's kind of a big conclusion I come to in the video. Um we've already talked about it a little bit, but I guess like what did you find hardest about YouTube?
Hard. Let me think. I think the hardest thing to deal with, like, there is a lot of stuff, right? But one of the hardest things that I can say on the top of my head is when you work tirelessly to make a project you love, you put your heart, your mind, your soul, your everything, and you get 100 views on that video, and it's like, logically, like, in a way, logically, like, oh, um, if the right people saw it, I know they would love it, but the YouTube algorithm is not pushing this video because they're used to my inconsistencies. But sometimes the emotional part wins, and all you can say is like, I did all of this work to speak to the void again. I'm speaking to a empty room. Nobody is listening to me. And I feel like we as human beings, we're very social. All we want is to be accepted by someone. We want to be recognized. We want companionship. We want to be appreciated. So when you put your whole heart into a video, like in my life, nobody watched To Your Eternity. I don't have a single friend that watched To Your Eternity or Hunter x Hunter or One Piece. They will I can't talk to anybody about how amazing this moment was. But you make a video about it in the hopes that somebody will listen to you and they will be like, "Holy shit, I felt the same way." But then you get no views, or you get 100 views, no comments whatsoever, and you're just like, it feels very similar to when you're, at least for me, when I was a kid, I was the youngest sibling, but honestly, I was invisible. The attention always went to my older siblings because they were the troublemakers, they were like the lost causes. So it was like, oh, Adara is fine. She's gonna be fine. But I wasn't fine. I wasn't getting any attention, the attention that I needed as a child. So when I saw, like, sometimes my videos didn't get any comments whatsoever, and I wanted someone to say something so bad, and there was nothing, it brought me back to that childhood of like, nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about what I have to say. I don't matter. My opinions don't matter. I think that's one of the hardest things that I felt like I had to deal with. That loneliness. You want to make friends so bad. You try so hard, but at the end of the day nobody cares. Or at least it's that feeling that nobody cares. I think that's the hardest thing to deal with YouTube. I never even like I know that big YouTubers they always talked about top 10 videos like 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. And I can imagine like I can understand why that would affect you. Like, oh, this video didn't perform as well as last week's video, which made it 1 out of 10. But it's like I always felt whenever YouTubers complain about like these things, like that their video wasn't better, I understood it, but as a small YouTuber in comparison, I always felt this bitterness that I feel really bad about because I know you guys are people, but I felt this bitterness of like you're so ungrateful. Look at how many people adore you that watch your videos that actually care about what you have to say. Like in comparison, what do us little guys have? And it really is a constant battle of reason, logic, and the deeper roots of emotion. I think that's definitely one of the hardest things that we have to go through.
Wow, there's a lot in that, and I really appreciate you being that open with me, Dara. Like genuinely, that's really really good. Um, so I guess like to answer your question, the best way I've ever heard this put is from a YouTuber called Lil Joel or Big Joel. And Big Joel has a video about small YouTubers, and he has this quote in it where he says that to him, if one of his videos gets 50,000 views, it feels the exact same as when he was a small YouTuber and his video would get less than 100 views. And I would agree with that. I can post a video and it can get 500,000 reviews in the first month. And I feel like a failure. And the reason for that is we as humans are really bad at appreciating what we have. We can only assess what we have compared to what we did have. So 500,000 views to me, it's still a lot. And I get it, it's a lot. I think of how many people 500,000 is. And like if I try and visualize 500,000, I can't because crowds that big they're impossible. There's no arena in the world that could hold 500,000 people. But I just can't shake that feeling that I have underperformed, that no one gives a shit, or that everyone hates me. You know, that's the other side of it as well. When you have a large following, the hatred starts getting to you as well. So I feel you, and I think you're right, but I think it's part of the human condition that people feel that way.
To be greedy, right?
Yeah,
Always want more.
it's part greed. I really think YouTube incentivizes us to feel like that. I think YouTube, like, here's a question for you. Why do you think YouTube displays views?
Competition, definitely.
It
They
it wants us to see those views and to feel, if our video surges, it wants us to get the dopamine hit off that. If our videos do badly, by its standards, by what it thinks people wants to watch, it wants to make us feel like we failed so that we'll try harder next time. And I think that's really fucked up, you know?
definitely.
Do you spend much time on YouTube's back end, like in the analytics and stuff like that?
You know what? I think it's funny because one of the things that a lot of YouTubers told me to do to try and grow is study your analytics to see what works and what doesn't. What works, you repeat. What doesn't, you throw away. And I'm like, ew, math. I don't want to do that.
So Adara, I have never looked at my analytics.
Yeah,
Never once in my
I have, but it's like I look and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't care.
I
I
really
just
I don't think analytics really help. I think all they do is they give you more dopamine. It's like, oh, this person had this. Like, I think it's kind of nonsense in a way. Adar, just give me 1 second. I just need to message someone.
All right. Could be not just the dopamine, but there's also that thing that human beings, they naturally want control. They want to feel like they're in control. It's like a survival thing. If you can control something, you can predict it. If you can predict it, you can survive. Henceforth, why I think also analytics help with that dopamine that you said. It's like, oh, if I look at the numbers, I see what works and what doesn't. So it gives the person a false sense of control. And I think that's why they exist.
That is so interesting. I genuinely never considered it like from that perspective.
Psychology student.
Apparently so. Yeah, that's legit. Yeah, that's a really, really good point. So I guess, have you ever come across these social media courses?
Yes, I have actually. I even did a couple of them. And yeah, I did a couple of them. They didn't cost me anything. At least I don't think they cost me a lot. I remember I did one from Skillshare, and that was free because I had a Skillshare membership. Hashtag sponsored by Skillshare.
Sure.
YouTube, but yeah. I got a free Skillshare from one of those YouTube codes. And one of them was YouTube course, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go through this. And I watched the whole thing, and I was like, I got nothing from this. Like, there's literally nothing here that A, I don't already know, and B, that could actually help me. And it was the same thing with the other course that I think that was from Udemy. I think that's what it's called. It's like a website where you do courses about everything. I'm pretty sure it's Udemy. And I did it, and it was like the same thing. And I was like, there's literally nothing here. Like, I've learned nothing. And that's when I realized before, right, in that first course, that was like, yeah, these definitely, they don't help with anything. And I did the Udemy one just in case. Let's give it a chance. I don't think it cost me anything, and that's why I did. I was like, give it a chance. It's like, so what am I gonna waste? Just my time? At least I'm not wasting my money. Yeah. And then I wasted my time. I'm never getting that hour back.
So
Um,
I'm currently doing a 8-hour $500 course.
what the what the fuck?
And that's not the most expensive course I've come across.
No, my God. I'm cringing right now. Like this is for your video, I know that, but like all I can think about is the first thing I think is like this poor naive kid, 13 years old, full of hopes and dreams. The stars are aligning. If I do this course, I will become the greatest YouTuber ever. And then they're $850 poorer, and nothing has happened to their channel. That is all I can think about, and I feel so bad for the people that get tricked to spend the
So
money.
the fucked up part is I actually looked up a bunch of reviews, video reviews for this courses, like little YouTubers posting their review, and they're
Mhm.
so fucking excited. And they're all really positive. They're like, this course is amazing. This course really helped me I'm gonna double, triple my YouTube revenue. Like, and it's like, if these courses are so popular, if these reviews are so good, this has to be a great course. Like, it just has to be.
Mhm.
Because I found
Mhm.
like 8 videos where this was the case.
Mhm.
But the fucked up part was then I started looking up when those videos came out and where the channel was currently at. And most of them
Mhm.
were like, they'd taken the course a year ago. They have 1.6 thousand subscribers and they paid €500 for this course and it did nothing. And I, if you want to scam a billionaire, I'll help you, you know? But if you want to scam emotionally vulnerable people, I really have a problem with that. And
Yeah.
like, I think YouTube leaves people emotionally vulnerable. I think we're conditioned to believe that our self reliance is YouTube. And that's sort of what I want to make the video about. I want to make it about like, you don't need 1 million subscribers. Like, the whole kind of narrative of the video, at the start of the video, I say, like, if you want to know what's over the 1 million subscriber mountain, I am going to show it to you in this video. And the answer at the end of the video is there's nothing. There's nothing here.
Nothing.
And it's not worth pursuing. But if making videos makes you happy, then do it, you know?
Mhm.
But I guess one more question. Like, you don't sound like you're done with YouTube. You're going to make videos again.
My biggest project that I have mentally is that I want to do a video on Robin Williams. You know him, right?
Yeah, of course.
The I really want to do a video on his 10-year death anniversary, which
10
is I think
years.
it's gonna be
Wow, it doesn't feel that
it
long.
doesn't, right?
That's a great idea for a
Into
video.
Yeah, I plan to start working on it maybe when I have time, really, this year, next year. But I'm gonna try to do it like you did your Berserk video, work on it very slowly, little bit when I have time, and eventually publish it on his death anniversary. And I hope to make the video at least like 2 hours long or an hour long minimum, 2, 3 max because he saved my life. The man really means a lot to me, and I really want to do a very thorough research video where I analyze every little thing, like a really full package video.
Be sure to send it to me
But
when you do. I'd love to see it.
all right, I will. Uh, you you know that I'm the person that did the YouTubers I simp for video, right? I
I
just
I
wanted
do know
to.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Although it
I just
wasn't
wanted to.
me. It wasn't me who. I have like not an assistant. I have a producer, and she actually picked your name out of all the Twitters, out of all the tweets. It wasn't cause you did that video, but she just thought
Oh.
you sounded good.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's nice that I got lucky then. But I appreciate regardless this opportunity. Yeah. Thank your producer for me then for picking
Yeah,
me.
we're going for drinks today
Oh.
after tomorrow. I will let her know. But
Thanks.
one other question I gotta ask is, and this is kind of a tough one, like, but say you had a crystal ball and you could see into the future, and you knew that where you're at in YouTube now, it was never gonna get more than that. How would that make you feel?
Relieved. I would feel so relieved
Wow.
because I would feel relieved because I would find peace because the little girl that had this enormous dream of becoming a YouTuber, like I could just tell her the truth. And because it's the truth, 100%, she would have to accept that and she would cry and be sad about it. But she would be like, well, if it wasn't meant to be, then we could do other things. We can become a psychologist, or maybe, just maybe we'll become an author because that was my other dream. I don't know if you watched by any chance the last video that I posted. It was the video that I shared on the tweet, which was growing older, getting older broke me. And in that video, I talked about how, of all of my dreams from when I was a kid, from when I was a teen, I wanted to be like a Hollywood star was one of my dreams. I wanted to do YouTube as one of my dreams. But the one thing that always stayed is being an author. And I feel like even more than YouTube, I feel like writing is my vocation that I feel like I could do, only sell a few dozen books and be happy about it. Right now, I'm actually writing my very first book, and I have a bit of a sponsor, thank God for him, that pays me some money to read it because he's like my first fan. He likes the story that I'm writing, and it's about um, witches, like women that were burned during the entirety of the witch hunt period from the 1400s to the 1800s. And the story is about all of these women. They get reincarnated, isekai, I know. They get reincarnated to a completely different planet. But the catch is they get reincarnated as actual witches. So they actually get a second chance in life, and they get a fantastical, peaceful chance in life where they can learn real magic and actually do what they wish and actually grow emotionally as people. And I was inspired to write this book from a art that I saw on Twitter. So maybe when I publish it, it grows big, but I'm actually okay with it not growing big because writing is the one thing that genuinely fills my soul. That when I have the time to do, I plan to write many, many books.
Well, like here's the thing. If writing makes you feel like that and it doesn't work out, you still had the experience of writing it, and that's
Yes,
what matters. I wouldn't make YouTube videos if I didn't love making YouTube videos. Like I don't really like being a YouTuber. There's parts of it I love. Don't get me wrong. There's parts of it I love. Generally, my day-to-day putting up with internet notoriety, it's not me, and I don't really give a shit. Kind of wish
I
I kind of wish people would just leave me alone, honestly.
I bet, yeah.
But I love making YouTube videos. It's still the highest I get is, dropping the right piece of music on the right footage on the right dialogue, or writing a line that's really funny, or making a joke that's really stupid. Like all that stuff is what I love. The 1 million subs next to my name, like it doesn't mean anything to me. Like genuinely, it doesn't. You know.
I understand that.
Final question: what advice would you have for people starting YouTube?
Don't. I'm just kidding. Um,
Okay, so you
what
say
advice?
that
No, I'm
about
joking.
5 or 6 people have answered with that.
Really,
Yeah.
really. No, I'm joking. I don't mean it when I say don't. I say it's really like the cliche. Do it because you like to. And I know it sounds like a cliche. And look, I am in a very tough financial spot. And I know that a lot of people also dream about being a YouTuber because they want to not go through poverty. They want to be independent, or they just want to follow their dreams. Like, whatever reason that you have to do YouTube, go ahead, do it. But here's the thing: failure, learn to embrace it, learn to be at peace with your failure. Look at failure like something positive. Like, because with that failure, you are going to grow. Even if it can be sad or humiliating, you're gonna learn. And knowledge is the most powerful tool we have as human beings. It's what makes our societies grow. It's not the money, it's not the power, it's the knowledge. So embrace failure. I'm not saying you have to kiss failure's feet, but embrace it, accept it, grow, and also plan. Treat YouTube like a hobby. For the love of God, never treat it like a job unless you're already there. Because if you treat it like a job, like I did, it's not gonna be fun anymore. You're gonna start resenting it, you're gonna hate it, and I know that maybe you want to become a YouTube out of spite at one point, but trust me, that's just not gonna do your heart well. So, plan B, even if you feel like you're not good for anything else on this earth, trust me when I say there is something else you could do. Try to think about what other things you love besides entertaining people. Is it helping in the medical field? Is it justice? Study law? Is it are you a charismatic person? You just love giving presentations. You can become part of a marketing company. Anything that you can think of that could be a main plan of safe income. I think that's more important than like prioritizing YouTube with the goal of making money. Because one thing, at least it gives you a degree, and people in the real world might take you seriously. But YouTube, you maybe, I feel like YouTube becoming popular, you have the same chance as winning the lottery, and you have a bigger chance to get hit by lightning twice than win the lottery. So just do it for the love.
Yeah, like I make more money off YouTube than I have made in any other job ever. Probably all my other jobs combined. Honestly, like I do well. The likelihood of someone getting to the point I'm at is
Hmm.
fucking minuscule. And like that's how I always describe it to people. I'm like getting big on YouTube is like winning the lottery because it might as well be for you might as well psychically try and control those weird balls in the lottery as you might try and figure out YouTube's algorithms. But yeah.
Hmm.
Dara, I just want to thank you for this interview. This was fantastic and I really really appreciate how open you were about everything and it sounds to me like you're nearly all the way there to kind of accepting the kind of realities of YouTube. But what you were saying about how it would be a relief to know that it's not going to work out, I think it's best to just accept that and then keep doing it regardless. Because I think
Hmm.
that's the healthiest mindset you can come at YouTube from. Just, okay, this is never going to work out, but I'm just going to make shit that I like.
Hmm. No, but it's like when I say relief, I mean in the sense of, there's like a quote from a philosopher. He has like a very complicated name. I don't remember his name, but he has a quote that is, regret it, and if you get married, you'll regret it. If you don't get married, you'll regret it. Whether you get married or you don't get married, you'll regret both. So basically, everything that you don't do, you regret. But why is that? Because we have no idea what's going to happen. So that's kind of what I meant with relief. If I knew 100% that YouTube would never work out for me, I will feel relieved in the sense of like, okay, I know this is never going to pay my bills. I'm so glad that I know that because I can waste my time studying 5 years of psychology plus 2 more years to get that PhD, make that money, to make that time for then I can do my hobby when I really want to do it, when I have the time to do it, and for fun. It's kind of what I meant with
Sure,
relief.
I get you. I get you. Um, that's pretty much everything on my end. Again, I just want to thank you and like just hearing your story and stuff. Like part of the reason I think I really want to make this video, like it's not just a video about how I think these courses are shit. It's about I feel like the entire mindset that's kind of popped up around YouTube and just the pursuit of numbers and views and just how I really think that's like an awful way for the entire platform to go. And I guess when I think of the kind of people I want to see this video, it's like you from like 5 years ago or something like that. Like
Right.
that's why I want to do this. But
I feel like it's a great idea, and I'm genuinely thankful for you for making it because I definitely feel like with this video, I hope that you are going to save the time of a lot of people, and time is the one thing we can't get back ever. So I feel like it's gonna help a lot of people, or
I
at
hope
least I
so.
hope it will.
Yeah, I hope so. But We shall see. Before we finish up, was there anything that you wanted to ask me or anything?
Hmm. Oh my God, when you put me on the spot like that, I can't think of anything.
That's okay.
Oh, um, can I ask you if I think of something? Like, can I just send you a message through Discord if I ever
You
think of
sure can.
anything?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Thanks.
Okay.
Because right now my mind went like blank. I was like, oh my God, this one-time opportunity. What could I ask him?
It's
Like,
okay. It's
what is
okay.
the?
You can send me a message and I will reply.
Thank
Okay.
you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for the time, okay? And take care of yourself, all right?
Thank you. Take care. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.